Hi guys, welcome to the third episode of Art Farts. I have Aashna with me. She's a childhood friend. She is now a textile designer. She's building a brand called Any Living. It's basically where she uses the handicrafts of handicraft techniques of India or Gujarat or just
Gujarat and across India.
All across India to make home decor, but also wall pieces.
Wall art pieces
Yeah.
as well.
So this is my first time diving into textiles in depth, and we could not be more different as artists or creative people. So I'm very excited to see where we come together and where we don't. Yeah, thanks.
Of course, had to be here.
Of course. So let me start with a very basic question. Now you went to NIF Bangalore and did textiles. Where did you fall in love with textiles? Because knowing your home and your family a little bit, they're also very earthy people, very, very cotton, organic, sandalwood smells when I come into your house.
Yeah.
Very like Badu Tanjore and everything. So I'm guessing obviously it influences you from there. But where did you decide that you are going to be a textile designer?
So basically, exactly what you said, that ever since I was little, I've always seen, my grandmoms dress in the most beautiful saris. And I think saris were my inspiration. And that's when I think around 7th grade, it struck me that I wanted to become a fashion designer, because for me, anything related to textiles at that point of time was only fashion. And that's all the exposure I had. And by 9th grade, I remember my mom told me that, are you really serious about going into fashion? I said, yeah, because all my life I would sit with my grandmom's mom, raid their closets, look at saris, understand craft. And of course, my parents also, have always collected a lot of textiles from across India. And my family has been into textiles, cotton mills and all of that. The Ahmedabad shebang, I'd say, is always revolving around the textile industry. And so somewhere I always had a liking towards textiles. And in the 9th grade, mom put me in a summer school sort of a workshop in NID. And that's when I really kind of got into the design environment. Okay. And by the time I had to spend like 7 days, eat there, stay with the students there. And I was young. I think I was one of the youngest, workshop attendees there. And I really liked it. And after coming out of there, my dad put me in contact with this master dyer, natural dyer, called Tufan Rafaiji. He was 94 back then, when I was in the 9th grade. And he used to come. So originally, he was one of our colorists in our mills. Okay. And my dad would, go pick him up and bring him home. And he would teach me the basics of natural dyes and natural dyeing in India. And again, I loved that, course so much with him that slowly, I kind of fell into love with textiles. And by then 10th happened, 11th happened. And I think 12th, I was pretty sure that I was taking textile designing. And my target was NID or NIFT, because within India, they were the best. And I got into NIFT Bangalore. And ever since, I've never looked back. Never for 1 second have I thought that I've never regretted taking textiles. And each day, I kind of fall in love with India and its crafting heritage. So wow. I love what I do.
Now this might seem like a dumb question, but what is textiles?
Okay. So textiles is not the clothes that you wear, but the cloth with which they're made, right? And it's not only limiting to clothes, it also covers your beddings, your home furnishings, rugs. There are so many industrial uses of textile as well. Yeah. So anything that is woven, I would say, because there are two segments. There's textile and non-textiles. And non-textiles has metal, has all the other surfaces,
Right.
plastics, stone,
Right.
all of that comes under the non-textile. While anything that is made with fiber as in natural or man-made, natural would be cotton, wool, silk, jute, linen, etc. Artificial would be nylon and you know all those
Right,
kind of man-made
right,
fibers. And yeah, essentially it's fabric, the cloth, and
Right.
not anything, not the product.
Okay, so
Yeah.
how do you decide that I want to focus on this part in textiles? Because I've seen what you do and it's very organic and it's very cottony, for the lack of better words. Very earthy.
Yeah.
So, like you said, there's nylon and then there's a lot of other stuff. How do you just decide that the sub-segment of the sub-segment is my focus?
Okay. I think for that I did a trial and error. Like I don't think I landed upon Indian crafts suddenly. I essentially work with the Indian traditional segment of textiles,
Which is?
which is textiles made by people of India in different regions of India, indigenous to certain communities, made for certain purposes. For example, how a pichwai is painted to go on a wall behind the idol of the Lord. Now
Okay.
that's an indigenous Indian textile,
Right.
and my forte is Indian crafts and Indian textiles. However, to pinpoint and to land there, I have kind of worked and experimented with many kinds of textiles. Fashion I've played with. Garments essentially. I've also done prints, only prints, digital prints. I have worked also on projects with retail houses like Aditya Birla.
Right.
Now they're big commercial brands and they're very professional setting.
Right.
From there, slowly, I moved on to the NGO sector as well. And that's where I kind of found my calling.
Yeah.
And started enjoying working with the people.
Right.
More than textiles, I think I enjoy working the people and the hands who are behind
Right.
creating those crafts. And yeah, so I have a little bit of a social angle to it as well.
Okay. So, like you said, there was this master who taught you how to
Yeah.
dye, and then you like went around and
Yeah.
experimented with people, then craft, and all around India. What do you think we're missing, like as a general populace? Where do you think we're missing out? Being like, so don't get me wrong, pitchwise are amazing, and the locals would know pitchwise, but there are a lot of things that the locals would also not know, including me.
Of course.
What do you think is very, very undervalued that you would, in a day, if you could just make the world be like, everyone should know this, what would it be?
Khadi.
Okay.
Khadi is essentially a textile that is home only to India, and it's crafted not only on the hand loom, which is essentially hand
Right.
weaving, but it's also hand spun, and that's the real beauty of khadi.
Okay.
By hand spun, what I mean is that you come from a textile family.
Yeah, I know nothing about textiles.
So ginning,
Right.
you
Yeah,
take
yeah,
your cotton,
yeah,
it
yeah.
gets cleaned
Yeah.
again by hand,
Right.
Then the next step is spinning it into a
Right.
spool or a thread. That is also done what Gandhiji used to do on that
Right.
charkha.
Right.
You're basically taking a lump of cotton
Yeah.
and making it into thread
Okay.
by hand.
Right.
Now, if I'm doing it and my pressure keeps changing every minute, I'm a human, I'm not a machine.
Yeah.
So every inch of the yarn that is spun, it'll be different. Some places it'll be very thin, some places it'll be very thick. It'll give a texture, and then when it is hand woven, again it gives texture, right? And that entire concept, technology, idea, whatever you call it, that fabric is, I feel, inherently Indian. You do not find it anywhere else across the world.
Yeah.
And khadi doesn't only come in cotton, it also comes in wool, silk, jute, any natural material
Got it.
hand-picked from the farms. hand cleaned, hand spun, hand woven, hand embellished, and hand sewed would be a khadi product.
That's crazy.
So that entire
Is
concept.
it expensive?
Not necessarily. It is costly, you know,
Yeah.
as what the
Yeah, so that's the difference, right?
That's-
There is expensive and then there is costly.
It is.
Costly is where there is cost associated to the production,
Correct.
and expensive is the price tag.
correct.
Where the profit
Profit margins are
is-
going.
Yeah.
And what is expensive and what is costly in an Indian sense?
Right.
It's actually a very relative and a subjective, you know, topic to discuss prices. But what I feel is that the entire idea of using khadi would make more sense if you are buying less.
Yeah.
You consume it's
So the
a
whole-
sustainable
exactly,
ecosystem, right?
The whole thing that the West is after
Correct.
right now.
Correct.
We've
been practicing it for years, and it's just right now that we're going into fast fashion, and the West is now following us for all the sustainable practices that we
Right.
were already following.
And I'm sure if you go to a random person on the street,
I don't think like people.
that's sad. That is why.
It is.
That is why this. Okay, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
There's textiles, there's design, there's craftsmanship. You're doing like let's say a triangle of three.
Right.
But I would still say you're more of an artist than a designer.
Yeah.
One, what is design to you versus what is art to you? And let's take it from there.
I kind of, you know, expected this question.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, you know, she's going to ask me this, that where am I at that juncture? I think I bring art to design. Now, art to me is very personal. Right? I can have an idea and I'm putting it out on fabric, for my instance. That's my canvas. However, design is something that I also serves the utility of that particular.
That's crazy because I asked the same question to Janisha.
And she answered.
And she answered the exact same
your products
thing.
of NIFT then.
And I told her this is where I get very mad with designers. I obviously love designers, but they always say how they bring in art into design. But what they don't also realize is that art can go into design,
but design
can't go into art. This is another whole rabbit hole that we don't need to go into.
I think Jeannie and I should have been together.
Yeah, maybe. For you, I'm giving you like basically you as an art piece, like your autobiography. After you're long gone, what would that look like?
Wherever that is, if I'm a textile, I would definitely be handcrafted in India very proudly.
Yeah.
And I think it would, with each little stitch on it, would be a different woman or a man's story to it.
Okay.
Right? Because I love people. I love people of India. I love India.
Yeah.
And that is how, and I would really like to be hung in India for Indians to see, rather than being displayed somewhere in UK as how, you know, all our art pieces are. I would rather be, you know, put to use as a piece of art or whatever by Indians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would it? Is it a piece of textile?
Sure. Yes.
On like in a sculptural format, or is it just hanging on the wall?
I think it would hang on a wall, maybe a sari. I would love to be a sari.
Yeah. Would you like to be worn?
That maybe, like, if it's my own descendant who is wearing it, then yes.
Yeah,
like
great.
why not?
Great.
You know what? I've always imagined myself that once, whenever, while I'm alive, I definitely want to, you know, wear a sari, go somewhere at a platform and actually like talk about India and my love for the crafts that I bring along and what India can offer. But yeah.
Great. But so you've talked a lot about what India can offer and people of India and how you love them.
Yeah.
There is a part of like Indian craft that I
Yes.
obviously don't know about that you know about. Khadi being one. We're also sort of like you said, sustainability has always been in India, and now people are going
Yeah, it's the
crazy.
buzzword.
Yeah, sustainability. Yeah. Someone told me that if you just make up your packaging sustainable, then you can charge a premium. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, just either to these things, I just say okay and I move on. Because there's no point in arguing with idiots sometimes. But this whole sustainability angle that has always been there, and now there's I've lost my train of thought. Let me redo this.
Fast fashion.
What basically I was going to ask you is that how would you as a textile designer try and make sure that everybody in India, I'm not talking about just the 0.1% or 5% or how much ever, like a minority. How do you think we can get it across to all Indians? Because it's just there in their kitchens, it's there around them, but they don't realize it, including me. I don't realize it. How this whole, I need to always have a new outfit, or I always need to have, like, we were just talking about weddings. So what is it with repeating outfits, and how do we make it actually sustainable? Not for the trend that's going on, but actually sustainable.
Okay, the easier answer is change starts at home. Like, if I practice what I'm trying to preach, it'll be easier for me to prove a point and become an example of what I'm trying to, the message I'm trying to send out. It would make it much easier. However, I don't think that works because your reach is very limited. For India, what I've always seen is things work top to bottom, right? So once the top 1% starts changing the way and by 1% in India, it's always the celebrities, because people have that blind following.
Yeah.
Or politicians. Political figures actually make a lot of fashion statements. We've seen time and again, Indira Gandhi, Narendra Modi, whoever comes. If that is being preached, it trickles down to the masses very fast. Right? Because we are a huge country demographically. So I feel top-down approach would work much better in India than anything else.
But how do you drive somebody away from the price tag of a GG logo to a...
That's exactly...
like, you're willing to pay
that is
80,000 for a jacket.
That's it. I've had women taking a Goyard bag, wearing solitaires, come to me and bargain for a thing done by somebody in a village which is worth 5,000, and they're bargaining with me for 1,000 rupees. And that's when I realized that, nothing can be done in this country, because it can be done. I don't want to sound very... kind
anti-national.
Anti-national, or not anti-national, but there's a sort of a kind of, that somewhere people lack pride in calling ourselves Indians. Now, whether it stems out of a very colonial education or a colonial idea or think school, but the minute you package something from the US. Now, let's say I'm trying, or the West in general. I give them khadi. I tell them to wear khadi. Now, imagine Coldplay compulsorily wearing khadi and coming and showing. Those 1 lakh people there, everybody would have bought khadi.
Yeah.
Not because it's an Indian fabric, but it's
trendy.
It's trending.
Yeah.
It's trending.
I think maybe...
And somebody they idealize is kind of supporting them. And I feel one very good example is Nikhil Kamath has been talking about Indian crafts and Indian textiles and Indian brands in general so much on his shows as well. And the kind of ideas that he's bringing are really cool, because, he's saying that he wants to kind of accept Indian brands much more than the Western brands.
Yeah, like the whole make
the fast
in
fashion.
India.
Yeah, exactly.
Whole, like,
exactly.
And the Yeah.
So I
we
think
have
it's
enough.
about glamorizing those concepts.
I think, yeah, maybe it's all about marketing, and
Yeah.
we just need to market ourselves a little bit
package,
better. Yeah,
package us,
package it
package us fancily,
and call it
people will-
sustainable.
yeah,
100% zero waste.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Make a few fancy logos.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. But now tell me, how have you seen since you were in college to now, art has evolved.
Yes.
People have also evolved. Incomes have changed. I'm not very pessimistic outlook to this, or maybe a very optimistic outlook, but I know I'm going towards more homegrown brands. I'm going towards more less fast fashion. If they just make it in my size, I'm happy to buy it. I'm happy to spend a few extra rupees compared to, because I know it's going to last. I know it's good for my body. It's not like some weird material. Have you seen that change?
I have. I mean, the situation I think is much better than what it used to be in terms of people accepting. Like today, you and me talking about, we're young.
Yeah.
We aren't, we are at a threshold in life where maybe 10 years back, people our age wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah.
But now you and I are discussing homegrown brands.
Yeah.
You and I are talking about indigenous, sustainable, ethical Indian products, localized production, which I think it's in itself is a major shift from what it used to be.
Yeah.
And I think the graph is upwards for sure.
Right. Now, explain to me, how does one get into, according to you, get into the world of art?
Yeah.
And then explore the world, like the different countries, let's say. If art is a world, then there are continents, there are countries, there are states. Let's just keep it that way so it's easier to understand. Now, what I do is very, very different. Like, it's very geometric, it's very like
poppy,
bright.
bright.
Poppy in your face. Like, there are like huge sculptures, it's site specific, it's like different.
Yes.
But then when I need a fellow artist or someone like educated in art, you can always understand what I'm saying. Same with you.
Yeah.
Like I'll to a certain
Correct. We are
extent
able
be
to
able
relate to our
right.
what you're
And
saying.
we were talking about this, that there is no real community that we have. I just know you. That's why I can call you.
Absolutely.
Same with Janisha. She's family. That's why I can just be like, let's hang. Give me thoughts on this.
Yeah.
But we don't move out of our circle. How do we
break that?
Yeah. How do we break that? Basically, how do we make sure that people can reach us, we can reach people? And because, like you said earlier, that we have NIFT, we have NID, we have SEP, we have so many creative
institutes right here in Ahmedabad.
And I'm sure there are people in there that are doing great stuff that we just don't know about because we can't reach them.
I think putting social media to good use would be what you are exactly trying to do with this little conversation that we are having, is trying to exchange ideas, also being accepting and open.
Yeah.
Right? The minute I am accepting enough of different schools of art and different, as you said, continents or countries, now it's kind of a global village, right? Like India needs to befriend some other country that is working in art. It's similar. Like you come up and show our art is completely poles apart. I work with a very different material. You work with a different material, but still there is some kind of a point of connection that we bond over, whether it's clients, whether it's a community, whether it's pricing, whether they are the downfalls or creative blocks.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure sometimes you have those days where you can't think of anything good and like.
And I mean, my favorite artist is a romantic painter, bro. He died in like the 1800s. I'm here in like 2025.
See, and it's still connecting.
So that's what I mean. Like, if it's dumb, right? But I should like a postmodern like sculptor who I look up to. Sure, there are, but they're not my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, is there an artist that you love that is just completely not doing what you do?
I think I don't know whether love is the right word or not, but I like Raja Ravi Varma's representation.
Right.
Maybe it's also again very connected to the kind of aesthetic that I'm trying to achieve. Maybe,
Right.
I don't know. But I kind of liked the way he has made gods and goddesses of India iconic. Like today, if you imagine any god or any goddess, the image in your head is the gift of Raja Ravi Varma, right? Like before that, there was nobody
Right.
who put a face to those names.
Right.
And that kind of an impression, that impressionist approach, I think what he had was phenomenal. Also, I love the Bauhaus. Globally, I love Bauhaus. I love the colors and the play of lines. I'm a big fan of lines. Love Bauhaus. You
Lines.
lines, right?
I'm a
Lines and
hoe for
lines.
triangles, but
Yeah, of course.
But so
I think
glad
art kind of connects. It's irrespective of time and geography.
I think it's irrespective of everything,
Everything,
right?
everything.
Like that. I mean, can you look at a tile and be like, no, this one very specific person made this? No, it could be any gender, it could be any
Yeah,
age, it could be any like
Anything.
that is what I like about it. But I'm glad we did this. This was fun.
Yeah, it was. I mean, imagine, I still remember the first time we had come here.
Yeah.
You had given me Yamini Auntie's cake and we were gulping it down
Yeah.
and you showed me some, the works that you were working on. And at that time, I don't think you had so many pieces
No.
up here.
But it's also just,
Yeah, I mean, I can see that you've kind of expanding.
Expanding. I feel like we come from such business oriented families that these like words are in your brain.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize it, but profits, expansion.
For me, I think the first thing with my dad, he kept telling me, why are you making this? Buy it from someplace, sell it somewhere and just eat the profit.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think of it as a business, think of it as a
100%.
design.
100%. But cool. Thanks for doing this.